Okay, let's talk about price shopping and why it's important to choose a provider on skill and not just price.
That's a good question. I think the most important thing when it comes to anything is to make sure who you're seeing is honest, skilled, obviously. And the best way you can do that is to check reviews. So I think if you were to start looking for maybe a location near you, most people would probably start with something close to home. You can look at reviews, see, and maybe bring it down to like 3, 4, 5 clinics or people that you're interested in. And then from that point, yeah, you might want to consider comparing prices. I think it's important to kind of get a feel for what's considered normal or average in your area, because pricing when it comes to aesthetic treatments is quite variable. So if you're just checking an Instagram post, well, that clinic might be in Texas or Michigan or in another state. We're in California. The prices are going to vary. It's important to know that, because you can't just take a post or a website that you saw from a different area and try to expect that type of pricing in your area. It might be very different. So I understand price is important for people, and that's always going to be a factor. But I do think starting out with reviews, word of mouth, that would probably be more important, I think, for me personally. Even when it comes to, a hair salon or a restaurant, I'm always going to go and see what other people think. And yes, I might still try it and form my own opinion, but when it comes to price, I wouldn't have the price be the leading search keyword when you're looking for a place, because yes, you can find a lot of great cheap quote unquote places, but you also have to wonder who they're hiring, who's injecting or treating you, and why it's so inexpensive. Sometimes it's just a way to get more people, which is fine, and other times it could be because they are maybe not licensed, or hyper diluting their product, or or worse. It could be a lot of different reasons. But yes, in some sense, you get what you pay for. I think sometimes people hike up prices just because there are certain letters behind the name. But I think ultimately we price based on expertise. You're not just paying for the product. It's really important to note, when somebody's coming to any of us or any injector out there for Botox, I'm not handing you a bottle of Botox and you're walking away with that. So you're paying for the expertise of the person injecting you. That has a price. So when you see price per unit or price per area, it's really important to note that factored into that price is the expertise of the person. And that, it's hard to put a number on that, but we have to. But again, it's not a product that we're having you walk out with. You're actually, the person has years of education behind them, years of expertise, years of training, years of continuing medical education that they're putting into that 20-minute visit with you. And yes, there's a price for that. So I think it's important to note that when looking at prices.
And I think, too, to add to that, if you're just looking at price, what's the price of a mistake? So let's say you do go somewhere and it was maybe less expensive than other places and you don't like it, and then you have to get it fixed or dissolved. What's the price of that? So factoring all of those things in, price is definitely not the first thing you should look at when you're trying to find a provider.
That's a great point. Because how many times, I can't even tell you how many times we've seen somebody that's a new patient that's come from somewhere else where something has happened, which again happens, right? I mean, things happen. And they don't want to go back to their original injector because they don't feel comfortable.
That
they
happens
don't have
often.
That trust.
Yeah.
And they could tell something was off before they even did the treatment. And that's not great. Because now they have to double pay. They have to pay us to fix the issue.
And it's just worth going to somebody you can trust. I don't fear asking for having a consultation only, so you can really get to know the person without the obligation or pressure of having to go through with treatment if you're not comfortable doing that. We do offer consultations without treatment. We encourage people to do it with a treatment because most of the time they want to proceed with the treatment and now there's no time to do it. But I think don't hesitate. Patients shouldn't hesitate to just want to meet the provider before they decide to proceed with the treatment, because you are entrusting your face to this person. You want to feel comfortable with them, and that goes for surgical or non-surgical procedures.
Absolutely.